Hola.
Hello, round two. Round two. Yes, this is a multiple recording session for those in the know.
Are we in Studio B?
No, we're in Studio M. We're in Studio MT, and that stands for
The Murder Table.
Bingo. And so far, as of right now, no murders have taken place.
Oh, we've murdered a lot of whiskey, though.
Oh, we're going to kill that whiskey.
And also murdered the names of a number of whiskeys.
Not to mention what we're doing to our liver.
Yeah. It's a slow death. To the pain.
Get your blood work done.
So what do we got?
Today we have, this is Bluebird Distilling's 4 Grain Bourbon. Comes in at 46% ABV. Bluebird comes from Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. And that's all I know. What else you got for me there, Johnny?
Well, what I know is every single day I go into work, I have to walk past their tasting room.
Oh, that's a nice problem.
Liberty Place in Philadelphia, which, I could really not need to see that every single day.
Sure you do.
Because on most days, I would like to go there probably on the way into work when it's not open.
And then lunch.
And certainly on the way home, maybe for lunch.
Anyhow, let's get back to this. So, we've got a bourbon. It's 51%. It's 4 grains? What were they?
4 grains.
Corn, barley,
Wheat and rye.
Wheat and rye. Okay, they don't tell you what
They don't tell you the mixture. It's got to be 51% corn
to be called bourbon.
to be bourbon. And then after that, you can mix in as much or as little corn with everything else.
Can you throw some fruity pebbles in there? That's grain.
I don't know if cereals count. Breakfast cereals.
Well, cereal grain.
I don't know if...
They call it cereal grain for a reason.
Once you make the breakfast cereal...
So you're doing the porn?
I'll do the porn.
All right, you do the porn.
It's about time I did something.
Okay. You mean besides, give me a whole raft of...
Sarcasm and grief?
Yes.
That is correct.
Good God. Are we related? Because the only people who give me that much crap is my family.
Irish, Italian,
Same
thin
thing.
line.
It is. And as we said in our last video, St. Patty was Italian. That's the rumor.
Very true.
We
Very,
turned
very
that?
true.
Is that it? Okay, there we go. All right.
Very, very true.
So we do clinky clinky?
We should.
Clinky clinky. Cheers.
Cheers.
This is extremely dark. This is a very, very dark color. This is beyond amber. I'm telling you, burnt sienna. What's your favorite crayon? What's your favorite crayon?
I like blues, really.
Do you?
I'm not a
You're a
big
blue
fan
man?
of these odd colors
No, you
for
don't
crayons.
like
I don't know what you're doodling. Blue, red, yellow, roji biv.
What I actually like to draw is I like to draw like fields of grain.
Is that what you do?
And then there's a truck and there's a machine that comes in. And then the truck hauls it off to the distillery. Well, to the granary. Then it gets mashed down and then
Sure.
whiskey. You've seen my artwork. It ain't pretty.
So it's
But
elaborate.
But it's all whiskey.
It's elaborate.
Maybe I'll throw in a couple shots of our fine artwork from, the booze dancing funeral services. Which if we keep drinking like that, we're going to need our own services. And by the way, you don't get a discount. It's got that's very potent smell.
It's, very grainy. It's like almost uncut malts. Like unmalted. It's like really...
Yeah, I see what you're saying. They almost like
ready.
It almost has like a fresh grain smell to it. Okay, we're going to go back to the old cinnamon.
We're getting like the wet cardboard, wet wood.
A little bit of leather.
Sure.
A little leather. A little cigar wrapper. I see what you mean though about the grain. Almost like if you had like the hot, like the what do you call that? The chaff from wheat.
Yeah. If you've ever been on a tour, to any of those things, and they give it to you to smell, and give it, roll it in your hands and smell it. It's very similar to that. Not good or bad, just that's what it smells like.
There is like a sort of like a raisiny smell to it. Also, a little dried fruit, a little dark sugar.
I'm just getting a lot of wood pulp.
All right.
Yeah.
Is that good or bad? Well, that's neither good nor bad.
I think it depends on the flavor at this point.
I gotcha.
When I get in there, taste it. If it tastes like I'm drinking wood pulp, probably not.
Are we going in for a taste?
I think we should go in.
It's not super hot.
It's a little thin, not maybe medium, not really very chewy. Although
there's a pucker.
Afterwards, you're kind of left with a little
dry.
A little drying, a little stringent.
It's very dry. I mean, I can just get at the end, it just sucked all the moisture out of it.
So you got to drink some more.
Mm-hmm. Lather, rinse, and repeat, I believe is the expression.
For 51% corn and some amount of wheat, it's not very sweet. I would expect this to have a little bit of sweetness to it. And I'm not getting much of the rye sharpness. So I wonder if...
The corn, maybe the barley?
If the barley is one of the more prominent grains in this. It kind of reminds me of some of those funky things the folks at Koval were doing, where they did the millet and they did some of that other stuff.
No, the flavor's
Get
actually
a little bit of that.
It is a little. It's almost again. I'm gonna go back to it once again. But that really like a dark sugar, like you know how like when sugar gets burnt, it gets that little bit of bitterness to it. It has a little touch of bitterness to it, but not bitter in a bad way. It's just different.
At 46%, I wonder if they raised the ABV because it hadn't been barreled for very long, so it's not terrible aged.
I don't know.
And I wonder what this would be if it was aged longer.
You think maybe it would mellow
to get a little, yeah, to get or maybe a little more. I'm not getting a lot of vanilla. I'm not getting a lot of like caramel or toasted notes.
I'm getting that burnt.
I'm getting a lot of the grain, a lot of I guess barley, and it's not as deep as the color would indicate. The color would make you think that this was something bigger.
Cups of water. Let's just give it a shot with a little bit of water. Did you spill?
No, I managed to put exactly 1 drop the first time. And then I went to go and put in a second drop and put it in a bit like 11. So I may have put in too much. On the nose with a little bit of water, I'm really not getting much more.
You're going to tell me a story?
Oh, that's my friend George is going to tell you.
Oh, George. Oh, hey, George. Mr. Thorogood.
It's interesting. For a local bottle, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it is good.
And it's good enough that I'd want to go and try some of their other line to see what else they have.
Now that I'm starting to get a little bit of like rye, like a little bit of that like herbally note that you get from the rye, in the back end. But again, it's not really sweet. It's not sweet at all.
No,
and it's kind of dry. So I'm thinking, on its own, I don't mind it. I kind of like it. It reminds me of almost like that Roaming Man we had a while back.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. And a few of the other ones, like the younger whiskeys.
The other thing which I would wonder about, and maybe we'll save this for another video, is while this doesn't have over sweetness, over sharpness from the rye, too much of any one component, what would this do in a cocktail?
Yeah,
because a lot of the bourbons that you would want to try and put into a cocktail, they almost are too one note that they might overweight the cocktail and it doesn't work. Where with this, I think you could probably blend this in with some pretty good notes of other items and see what's going on there.
I know you're not a huge fan of it, but maybe with some Averna.
Yeah. Or
maybe cut it with some Chinar or one of those like bitters as opposed to just an old fashioned. I think maybe the flavors from the Amaros would probably complement maybe.
I
that
think
slight little bitter note that I'm getting at the end.
I think you could throw better bitters in. Better bitters.
Better bitters.
Better
batters.
Betty butter, bit of butter. I think this would certainly be one of those things that for cocktailing, it would probably be very very useful in terms of.
We should try this maybe next time around. Maybe try it like with 3 different bitters and see which one works best.
Yeah.
Maybe try it with the Punta Mess. Maybe try it, as like a Manhattan type drink. Yeah. Then maybe try it with the Averna, and then maybe try it with the Chinar, which they're all very different.
Or we could try some of maybe the sweet pecan one and the Orzat.
Okay.
Try some of that. Go a different way with it and see if you went more sweet and earthy as opposed to.
What about a whiskey sour?
The other ones. I think maybe in a whiskey sour you're looking for maybe a little more oomph out of the whiskey than you are with some of these other drinks. But this, it was good. It wasn't, the best bourbon I've ever had. But
no.
I don't think I'd expect it to be as a 4 grain, where I'm more of a. Give me a little bit of corn and some wheat. No, I'm happy.
So a grade, letter grade. Let's go letters. B minus?
I give B minus.
B minus?
B minus.
I'd say B minus. I wouldn't say it's a B.
Yeah.
But maybe a B minus.
B minus. Maybe a little more time in the barrel, or a little less of whatever the 1 grain kind of overpowers this. Maybe a little more rye in the mash bill.
Maybe. Did you just say a little more rye?
That's very unlike you. It's shocking for me, but
that's very unlike you.
A little more rye. But it would, I did probably low 80s. 82, 83 if you're scoring on that kind of grade, but certainly B minus. But again, for as young as the company is and as young as the product is, it's a pretty good score.
It is. And if they're doing it all themselves and they're sourcing the grain locally and they're distilling it and aging it on site and all that good stuff, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. So we're looking forward to the future of Bluebird, and we look forward to trying the tasting room and giving it a shot, and maybe we'll see them at an event or two coming up in the near future. Yes. So anyway, thank you, Bluebird, and cheers.